What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is a Monday edition, post-Valentine's Day edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley with you here. We got Snowbird holding down the top middle. Jeff Bezos playing video games over in the top right. Jamie Thompson, EB, Ty Bartell, and Max Solo at the foundation of the tree. We got a pretty full house here today, guys. The only one missing from the intro, I think, is Quinn, right?
Yeah.
And we don't even know his location. He could be
hiding in Jeff's closet over there.
Yeah, he could. Well, that's there's a couple.
Is everything okay?
Hey, I'm Jeff, guys. Look at me. Look at me. I'm Jeff, guys.
The Blair
I'm
Witch
set up
Project.
finally. Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. I'm good now.
It is. You deserve to get kicked off now. If your internet goes out, you just deserve it. It's National President's Day, naturally. So the question becomes, I don't know how we get beyond politics on this one because it's the president. Who's your favorite president? We'll start with you, Mac.
Trump.
Ty.
Well, we'll go FDR.
All right.
Jesus.
EB.
I got two.
Okay.
El Presidente, David Portnoy. El Presidente, DJ Oakley.
Oh, look at that guy scoring points. Jamie Thompson, his triumphant return.
Yeah, and I totally forgot to wear it, but I have this sweet, like, long sleeve, just hoodie type thing. It's got a hood on it, but it's real thin. It's got 26 on the back. It's Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Do you have to swoon the ladies anymore? Like, do you have to say that's the quote you come out with?
Hey, man. That's
Carrie Munson just had to go take a shower.
So soft in the birthday video. Hey, guys. Happy birthday, you Ted.
Yeah, Jamie, we got to
It's such
address
a good
that. What the
time.
hell was going on?
It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was recording it, and I didn't want to be screaming.
Hey, boss man.
Yeah. Hey, DJ, this is Jamie. Late night.
Call
Jamie.
now 1-800 Jamie Thompson.
1-900 Jamie.
I'll even put the cowboy hat on for you.
Oh, speak softly. You carry the big stick.
All right, I'm leaving. I'm going.
I appreciated it, James. I really did. It was just creepy as hell. Jeff.
Ty stole mine, so it's FDR. It's the greatest president of all time.
Really?
Yeah. I liked it because he was so good at, like, he never sat down when he talked to the public, to the United States.
He was
'cause didn't
crippled.
wanna-
He's sitting down the whole time.
No, he stood up. Look at it. Everything he goes and address the nation, he stands up for. Because he didn't want to be weak. He said, I didn't want to feel like I was weak. I let my crippledness be the part of the reason why I'm not strong. So, yeah, it's FDR.
Is anybody else, like, shocked that he didn't say Trump?
Yeah.
No, I
Stunned.
think Trump was a good president. He was, the greatest.
You have Trump socks.
I do have Trump socks. I do have Trump Golding playing cards too. Like real
You
gold.
have FDR playing cards and FDR socks, too?
No.
That's wild. But also, I'm surprised that Jeff knows American history about presidents like that. Dude can't
Yeah.
spell photosynthesis, but man, he knows all about the president. That's amazing. Good for you, Jeff.
Well, FDR is
Thank
only
you.
3 letters. What's the full name? What's the full name?
Oh my gosh. Hang on, Jeff.
Hold
You're
on.
getting ISO'd for this one.
Okay, hold on. I'm on attack. Franklin. What's the D stand for?
These nuts.
Oh shoot. Roosevelt is last name. I don't know his middle name though. It's Franklin D. Roosevelt. Like
Delano.
yeah, I thought it was that. Fast break. And
Jeff is breaking into our fourth wall with esports,
I'm paying
except he's
attention.
got it pointed at him instead of the actual game. So it's a new look for us. How about you, Paul Snowbird? Who are you thinking for president?
The president, I think everybody has probably said of all time was probably one of the better presidents was Kennedy. But president that I've lived through that I thought was a good president was Bill Clinton. He really was. Our economy was doing great. I mean, the country was thriving. And listen, his personal life was his personal life. I worry about what he did for our country, and he did a lot of good things. So I like
Roethlisberger. You should only worry about what he does on the field. Don't worry about off the field.
I like Slick Willie.
I liked because of 9/11. I liked what George Bush did. I thought he was a good president to kind of get the country on the rebound. There was a lot of great speeches that he had that kind of I thought this too. I thought it was Delano. It's not Delano Roosevelt.
I'm pretty sure it's Delano. It's Delano, yeah.
Maybe the R is just silent.
Somebody's gonna have to look.
I thought it was the roll into the Roosevelt that it.
Google's a click away.
Beto, show everybody your
There's no R.
A what?
There's no R.
There's no R. Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Vicky comes through with a big one. Touchdown, Vicky McDonald with the Delano.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mama Yoke coming at it too.
I'm shocked no one said Abraham Lincoln.
On the save?
Olivia
Total-
would have. My 11-year-old thinks he's the greatest president of all time. She loves him. I'm like,
well, I mean, just what that dude went through, like to have a country in a civil war, dude. That's a pretty big deal. And then also, someone said Teddy Roosevelt. I think Teddy Roosevelt's a good one because he really helped with industrial revolution. What was going on, getting rid of monopolies, kind of changed how a lot of business is set up now. It's there's a lot of little things that people don't. They look at him as like the Rough Rider, but he did a lot to take down, big business, which essentially turned into millionaires becoming even bigger millionaires because they just bought their own stock. But imagine that. But even I think he was the last third-party candidate to ever win a presidency.
Reagan was awesome too.
Who was?
Reagan.
Nobody said McKinley. McKinley grew up in Niles, correct? Then went to Poland.
Yep. I think they said Ohio's got the largest amount of presidents. They came from the state of Ohio.
Well,
7.
In 4 years, they might have one more. Yeah, right. Can you imagine if I ran for president? I'd make it about 6 days with the funds that I have. Very interesting. Like you guys know a hell of a lot more about United States presidents than I do. I just like them for their leadership. And I mean, EB's breaking down, the trade deals and all that stuff, the monopolies. I had no idea. I must have missed a lot of social studies growing up because that was, I had no idea. I mean, can anybody name all presidents in order?
No.
Ty?
Yeah, probably Ty.
I don't want to take up the next.
I already did the 50 state thing. I'm not doing presidents.
That's true. Did Kate ever do it?
No. She said she couldn't do it.
-5, so I owe you something. All right, let's talk about. I mean, there's not a ton to talk about other than the games we have left. We have, I think they're over now. We had 2 games that had already started. United might still be going with Lordstown, and I think Heartland and JFK have concluded. Was there another one?
Who hit the big game-winning shot? Who was that text?
I think it was Berdovich.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
With a
had
dagger.
as time expired.
That's a big win for Heartland. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I said at the beginning of the year when they lost to Salem, this is going to be a team down the stretch you don't want to meet. And Berdovich is a baller, but the problem is he is. I mean, you can guard him all day. He has no problem dishing out dimes, and he's got some shooters around him to get it done. And JFK, that is a really, really underrated team.
Like United and Lordstown are still playing 44-36 with 3:10 to go in the third quarter.
Who's up?
United.
Hey, look at the Eagles flying.
Because you can watch it, YSN live games right now.
I'm not about to do that with my internet being shoddy, but
I'm just doing a promo.
I appreciate you. Because I would love to watch it. Usually I probably would if we're at work, but this snowstorm we're supposed to be getting. Hey, don't give anybody a free look. We're trying to get page views. This snowstorm, is anybody fearful of snow anymore? Like anybody I'm not. You are, Billy?
Working tonight. Nope, I'm working tonight. I got kiddos coming.
Are you more
I hate it.
fearful for you or them?
More for them. So I mean, I called a whole bunch that said, "Don't worry about coming." The ones that are in like a 5-mile radius, they're debating it tonight. So
Yeah, it's not a good situation. Jeff, you're afraid of driving around the snow?
No, I'm not afraid of driving around it. I just hate it because it's so fact I got to be at work tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock in the morning to open it up, and we're probably not even going to have school, and it's going to be like, all right.
well, you can walk to school though.
No, I can't.
You could. It's not even a mile down the road.
It's about like 3 miles from where I live.
Oh, that is. I used to go to school uphill,
Oh my
both
God.
ways, in the snow with no shoes.
Jeff, do you have a PS5?
No, I have an Xbox
Oh,
One.
okay.
I don't like PS5.
I just saw. Why do you have a black and white controller?
Because I broke the back of this on my black controller.
You ever see those cars down the road where like they're
different colored
multicolored?
door.
Like, I got a different fender. I got a different colored trunk. I got a different color hood.
He's got a Toyota front and a Chevy back.
Oh, my.
Oh my goodness! I was about to go nuts. Warrior. Yeah, that was the other game. West Branch beat Waterloo, which is a huge win for West Branch. What else we have here? Degree in political science, and I still struggle to get them all in order. Coach Seidel, come on. EBC champs. West Branch, right? Billy better be salting the walkway. Yeah, dude, that was rough. If anybody saw, did everybody on this panel see Kate eat it? She posted it herself, which,
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
I was not home. I was out at Mooney with Quinn.
Not only did Kate eat it, but so did the dog.
I didn't see
my
the dog
ate
fall.
it. My dog like tried to run out and slipped and fell, and then she went right after, and then Ralph came back up.
I almost ate it the other day too. So it's a share with Salem. So Salem and West Branch. Oh man, EB, Salem and West Branch sharing a title. How gross is that?
It's probably not. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, well, whatever. A title. We were talking about this other day. A title in EBC is still a title in EBC. Like, dude, that's a tough conference. And I'll let these guys correct me if I'm wrong. Paige and them. I think Canton South can still share it too.
Oh really?
Like, there could be a 3-way tie, but dude, the boys and girls division was just brutal. Like, you have 3 or 4 really, really good teams. Girls side, you have obviously Marlington. There's us, West Branch, Canton South, and even like Carrollton and Minerva. Dude, there's no pushover. And then on the boys side, it's the same way. Like, now, if it comes down to it, does West Branch and Salem like to share? Absolutely not. But hey, it's the year 2020, 2021.
All right, whose mic is that?
It doesn't it
Sounds like a zipper.
I'm thinking
It's not me.
Jeff.
It's not me.
I'm thinking it's Jeff because I see your wire just going back and forth.
It's not
I muted
me.
myself to make sure it wasn't me.
And it's
Yeah,
gone. Like you can just see his wire rubbing on his collar there,
It's
and that's
not
where
me.
the mic's at. The mic's up here,
Yeah.
and he
It's
ain't
not me,
moving.
fellas.
And there it is again.
Thank you. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, well, my fault.
Hurry,
I'm trying to win
hurry.
for the first time. I'm trying to win the first time online. For
Oh,
an
what's
NHL.
your record?
I've lost
Okay.
every single time.
Well, we
just
appreciate your
mute yourself
attention,
until you had to talk.
Jeff. So here's a situation. Over the weekend, we had a few cases around the nation. One of them hit close to home. We saw obviously tournament play starting here in basketball. So the question becomes, because there's so many things going on at one time, something popped up to me, and it's, can club and school sports coexist? And what I mean by this is, if you're playing, let's say, spring baseball for your school, can you play other baseball? Can you play like summer baseball at the same time? Or can you play flag football? Or if playing JO or AAU or things like that while you're playing in high school? And when does it become a problem playing two sports if you're vying for championships or in a tournament or a single elimination in both of them? And which one do you pick? And I guess it all rolls back to, can club and school sports coexist? And we're going to lean on EB first, naturally, because you do coach both of them. So the question would be pertinent to you and say, if you're in this situation and you're one or the other, what are you saying to your student athletes or your athletes?
Can they coexist? Absolutely, because there's only two states, and I'm gonna speak more on the AAU side of things than these other sports. But like Ohio and I think Arizona are the only two states that you can't play club basketball the same time that you're playing for your school. So that's just an OHSAA rule on our part, which a lot of people. Is it me?
Yeah, I'm watching your zipper. It's catching your collar zipper.
Oh, my fault. We'll just go all the way up. But it can totally coexist. I think though, when you get into like these different sports, like now you have basketball, and I know JO's starting up, and also here AAU will start up, and you'll have baseball. Like you gotta pick one that's going to be a precedent. Like me personally, I always think school sports should take priority over club sports, but that's just my personal take. And I know they kind of mesh up like overlap in seasons. It's just one of those things. You get into a huge gray area as far as what should you do. Like I know this spring the guys are going to come in and be like, well, I have a baseball doubleheader, but we also have an AAU tournament. What should I do? Me personally, I'm always going to say, go play for your school, because we can find you more games or different tournaments, this and that. Like as you saw last year, your school sports can be taken away in a blink of an eye, and club sports will always find a way because it's just set up differently. It's more, I don't want to say it's more for money, but it has a little bit deeper pockets. So if you want my answer, can they coexist? Yes, but I think there needs to be more communication between a couple parties. One, parents need to understand. Two, you need to, OHSAA or whoever the organization in that state needs to really allow it to be something like you have PA. They do AAU all throughout their basketball season. So you can't say that it doesn't work. You just need to have clear defined lines of how it's going to work.
I can agree with that. I mean, there's a lot there, a lot to unpack. Paul, you're probably second closest to this because you guys did the, what was it? I forget what it was even called, like the alternate baseball season to school. And it kind of coexisted with Scene Park in the Class A or Class B league. So when you look at this, your coaching staff and the other coaching staffs during that baseball season did well with allowing your kids to play both places if they really wanted to. Do you think it can work from that standpoint? Like EB said, if there's more communication?
Yeah, as long as it's not, I know in a regular season, and Billy can attest to this too, like when spring starts here in the next, week and a half, 2 weeks, that, if those kids come to that stuff, they can't be doing another sport. And then when baseball's in full swing, those kids can't go play club sports. You are stuck with, baseball wise, you are with your baseball team. You're with your baseball team. You're not going to go practice with the Falcons or Nightline or somebody like that. You can't do that. That's not allowed. Now, can those kids go do basketball? Absolutely. Because it does happen. Like they'll have basketball practice in the morning or even football lifting and things like that. But the same sport, that's a sport's a little different and may not be different in any of the sports really. So kids can't go, I don't think, the AAU right now doing high school basketball. Some of the instances we saw like throughout the nation was like they were leaving a basketball team to go do something, a totally different sport, but it was a club sport. And as a coach, I'd have been furious because I'd have been like, wait a second, we've worked hard. Your other teammates have worked hard right now, and we are on the back end of our season, and you're leaving us at the back end of our season when this is crunch time. It would have really burned me a little bit. Depending on how the kid was too. you don't want to say this like out loud, but as a coach, you're going to keep that in the back of your mind. If the kid's not a senior, you're like, you kind of bailed on us when we needed you the most to go do something else. And yes, that's your personal decision, but next year it could be my personal decision that you might not play that much because crunch time, I can't depend on you to be there because you might think something else is more important to go do that. So I think they can exist, as long as there's defined rules to it. And I think a lot of times with the way high school is, there are defined rules. Like if you were going to go somewhere else, if it's the same sport, you can't. But then coaches, like BB said, coaches and parents have to discuss, hey, listen, if my kid's going to miss this because they're going to go do that, well, then okay, but you've got to understand there could be some consequences with that. Like, hey, we've had personal things at our school at different sports that kids decide, well, I'm taking a vacation and I'm going to miss a couple games. Well, okay, then then when you come back, whatever games you missed, you're going to miss when you come back because it's not fair that you just decide to go take a vacation and leave and we're stranded without you for a couple games. So
interesting take. All right. Jamie, what are your thoughts on this? Can club sports and high school sports coexist?
I think they definitely can, and the closest relation I kind of have to this was back in middle school for me. You guys know I played baseball, and I also ran track when I was in 8th grade. And before the season, I went to the track coach and I said, hey, I want to run. I want to try and compare myself to the people around the area, but the way it is for me is I'm a baseball player. And if it comes down to it, if it's baseball or track, I'm going to do baseball. And if that's not okay with you, that's completely fine with me. I don't have to run track, but it's something that I wanted to do. And he kind of took that. He said, okay, we'd love to have you. And I think that's what's really most important is players have to come to their coaches and kind of lay it all out for them. I mean, one of my friends, he's a soccer player and he plays basketball. He didn't play the last 3 years in high school because he didn't want to have to choose between soccer and basketball. He came out because it's his senior year. He told the coach, he said, hey, man, I'm a soccer player. I'm going to college for soccer. This is what I want to do. But I also want to play basketball. And the coach kind of accepted that. And I think what you can do is, if that's not okay with you, don't let them on the team or just don't play them. I mean, if you don't want to take up a roster spot, you don't have to have them. Now, if it's kind of like Coach Seidel said in the comments, he said fall ball and football. I don't know anyone that makes cuts or if you can even do that in Ohio. You just limit their playing time. It's a tough situation, but I kind of feel like they're high school kids, man. I mean, they don't really know everything, and they're not going to fully understand the impact of their decisions. But I feel like it's kind of almost owed to them that they can play both sports if they want to because they're kids. They only have this amount of time to do it, and if that's what they want to do, go ahead and pursue it. But they got to know the ramifications.
I'd be interested to see, and not to point fingers here, but how much of this falls on the parent? You know what I mean? With allowing their kid, their student athlete to understand commitment. This is once you commit to something, because here's the issue. If it's a situation like you're in a single elimination tournament and you've been on the team the entire year, and let's say you do have solid minutes, and then there's a tournament or there's the other season starts and you just kind of bail. Is it fair to the teammates? Is it fair to I don't think. But again, Jamie, it goes back to what you said. I believe in communication. If everybody knows, right, that you're going in playing one sport because you're going to play at the next level, and you go to play, you get to that tournament and you go, listen, I told you guys up front, if there's a chance to play the other sport, I'm going to play the other sport. I think that's one thing. But if there was no conversation before, I think that's a completely different topic. Ty, how about you?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And without trying to repeat what EB and Jamie kind of said too much, you really need that open line of communication. And you need to be able to go to your coaches. And some of these coaches too, I mean, they'll flat out tell you, just like Jamie said, they'll tell you. And I know there's some coaches in the area that are going to be like, no, I mean, if you're going to go play another sport or if you're going to be tied to two sports, you're not going to get many starting minutes here because I need to
help you win. I bet they change their mind if there's a stud.
Absolutely, they're going to change their mind. But in the same sense, you got to understand, and what kids may not understand is that these coaches also have to build a program. They have to build a program that's going to be not only successful for their school, but they need to build a program and a culture for these kids that are joining on the team to where they you don't want these kids coming on thinking, well, just because he can go off and play, but now you can't. You're expected to be here full time, but he can go play other sports if not. But it goes back to that communication. If you're open and honest with some of your coaches, some may like it, some may not. But I mean,
but every kid is not equal, okay, in every coach's eyes. There's just not. And
nobody's saying that, Billy.
But I'm saying that in every scenario is going to be different for each family, household, kid, athlete. It's going to be a different scenario for all kinds of different people. So, and the coaches value each kid different, okay? So they're not going to come out in public and say it. They don't have to, but it is what it is. I mean, if they can help you win games right away, of course, this kid's going to get leeway to go do this because he's dropping 25 a night and with 10 assists on there. That's just is what it is.
So let me ask this, because we talked about this before. High school sports doesn't always get the most eyes on it from a recruitment standpoint, because a lot of these coaches and recruiters are in season when the student athlete is. So my question becomes, if you're looking to be recruited, you're looking to go to that next level and play, where do you put the value in it? So if you're going to, excuse me, if you're going to play one sport, right? So if you're playing baseball, but flag football, there's going to be a recruiter or showcase. Do you skip your games to go play, to go to this showcase?
So my first question would be, my first question would be to the coach as a player or parent. Hey, do we have any wiggle room, or can we change our schedule? Because I have prior engagements. And I'm not, dude, I've done it before. I did it this year. Run for Roses got moved to September, which was football season. When I took a girls team over, I had girls who were in the band. They had other, homecoming court, this and that. To me, that's important that they still go and do those things. So I went out of my way to sit there and try to make my schedule match up for them, which was it, 4 or 5 girls? Yeah, it wasn't the whole team, but still, nonetheless, you still can ask. The worst thing that they could have done is told me no. And at that point, I just would have said, well, screw it. We'll either not come or we'll forfeit that game, just because I'm not going to let these, and I'm using girls basketball as a reference now, but I'm not going to let those girls miss out on their high school situations, or, if they're juniors or seniors, you want to get 4 years of what's going on as far as homecomings and being, whether you're a majorette or in the band or in the cheerleader or whatnot, even though there's implications for other people to get recruited, colleges still look at that stuff too. So if you're skipping out on, one thing for another, college coaches will sit there and be like, they'll ask you point blank, hey, I saw you miss your homecoming thing for this. Some might like it, some might not. They might say, well, that might be an implication that they're going to skip out on me or something like that. So, I mean, a lot of times your coaches should ask, or tell your coaches, hey, this is my schedule. I have a prior engagement, this time. Can we move some things around? Because a lot of times you can. A lot of these people in club, and I'm speaking from experience, we understand, life happens. Can we do it always? No, but, most importantly, we're there for the kids, so we'll do what we can.
Coach Seidel bringing up an interesting point. He said, slightly different but interesting note from a small school. We share athletes within a school. I have football players that golf also. Baseball and softball shares with our track program. So, interesting question. Should coaches and do coaches at the high school level have a harder time sharing with what's the term we're using, the club programs, than they would within the school? I think that within the school, I think you have to share, but outside, it feels like you're almost getting cheated on, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the school, it's because 9 times out of 10, those other coaches are teachers, so you all know each other and you do that. In the school system, at least at most of the schools, you have to declare one as your number one. So if it's a springtime and you're a baseball player and you're track baseball, you say baseball's 1, track's 2. So if there's a track meet and a baseball game on the same day, you got to go to your 1. But if there's a practice of baseball and a track meet on the same day, you get to go to the track meet. so you can, and it's easier to share the kids that way, because then at least and it is selfish, but at least you're still promoting the school. You're still doing something for the school and helping the school achieve something. When a kid goes outside, which again, the springtime, it's tough because you don't see a lot of it, like you could like right now and some of these other things. But if a kid says, "Hey, I'm leaving baseball to go, go do a power lift for football with this program that's going to help me do," you're going to be like, "Wait a second, your commitment's here right now, not out there." I think sharing outside the school is a little more difficult because you're like,
well, we do it every year in Class B. We do it all the time with all the teams. PA is allowed to play, and they're still in the middle of their baseball season. We got guys that are the week of their state championships in middle of June that are coming over to play. Now, I can just speak from my experience. The one thing we try to always take care of is the pitchers, because that's a different world, because you can't pitch every day. You can play every day in baseball and softball. Even the girls' pitchers, as much as we like to think, they can't really pitch every day, though some do. So with those rules, we try to protect the pitchers, but we share guys from PA across the border and play Class B every year, all the time. And as soon as the season breaks. And as long as we're not selfish when it comes to, hey, we need you. Okay, it's our job to fill our team. But if they're having practice or they're done or their coach is aware that they play for us and they come over, and we try to communicate as coach to coach. That's how we work outside of just coach to player.
But see, that's a state thing though too, Billy. Like we talked earlier, Ohio, you can't do that.
Ohio, you can't do that. Ohio, you can't do it that way.
Dude, there's a huge, like, you still have a lot of coaches, whether you're in Ohio, like, you still have a lot of coaches who do not like club sports. Like, they absolutely frown
and
upon
vice versa
sports.
too. I was just going to say
right.
that. Yeah.
And there's a huge disconnect between the two. And I'm not quite sure what it is. A lot of it comes down to communication. Like, essentially, like Billy, your best interest is the player and to get them to the next level. And the best interest, we'll say for Paul at a high school level, is best interest for that best player to help his team win. The commonality there is the player, but one way or another, there's a miscommunication somewhere that needs to be found to where both of these organizations can help one another out.
It's an alpha.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna use this word, but for lack of a better term, it's a jealousy issue, because a lot of times these AU and summer baseball teams, we're able to do the things that some high school coaches cannot do. And that's give an opportunity to these kids to talk to a coach from Ohio State, a coach from Notre Dame, a coach from Arizona, where the high school coach may not have that opportunity to reach. And a lot of that is you're playing for me. And it's out of jealousy, maybe for lack of a better term, but sometimes that's what it comes down to, at least in my mind, at least in my experience.
Well, I think that there's some alpha issues there as well, because you've got coaches that are coaching in, let's say, summer. We're just using baseball as an example. So they're
Sure.
coaching summer ball, and they think, well, the real deal is in summer ball. We get the best kids from all over. We get to recruit and build a team. Whereas you have, let's say a high school baseball coach, and they say, well, wait a minute, this is where you win a state championship. I don't care what you win. Very rarely are you going to win a state championship with the guys that you have in your own backyard, in your own school, stuff like that. So there's an alpha issue that, okay, high school baseball is better than summer baseball, and summer baseball is better than high school baseball. Like, that's where the communication breaks down, I think. I think that, like Coach Seidel said, like we've already said, inside the school, it's easier because you go, hey, I know that little Timmy's got, baseball today. It's a big game for you guys, but I'm going to need him tomorrow for the track meet. Can we make this work? Can we make it, shift around his schedule? I mean, you look at was a couple years ago, Jackie Grisdale was playing in a regional or a state semi-championship in softball and was still able to go down and run in the track meet for a state championship or qualifiers or something along those lines. Like, those are the outliers, right? When you can do both and get it accomplished. And those, like, we all know that Jackie Grisdale is some kind of cyborg that came from a different planet that is a super athlete here in the area. So not everybody's going to be able to do that. But my question becomes, maybe not can the sports coexist, but can the coaches coexist to communicate well enough that they can actually benefit the player and not cost that player anxiety or issues down the road because they made them make a difficult choice with people that they really care about and their teammates and their coaches. I guess that's the better question.
I mean, you'd have to get those guys together and talk with, and let them and have that open communication between the two of them, you know. And the kids got to help that too, though. They got to say, "Hey, coach, you know, my high school coach. Hey, you know, here's my coach for basketball's contact. You know, can you get a hold of him and let him know where our schedule is because we need to work things out." I mean, the kids can help mend that bridge a little bit too because the coaches might be like, "I'm not reaching out to them. You know, I don't want to do that." But then you got to think about like when does it not become okay to do both? You know, for instance, the example we talked about, like, you know, if you're into a tournament and it's one and done and you say, well, you know what, I don't feel like going to the tournament game because I'm going to go to this thing instead. And you've just now left that program in the lurch. Like, can that coach tell you no? I mean, if they're seniors, they could be like, they could care less because they're like, we don't care. What is he going to do to us? Nothing. But if you're an underclassman or even like a junior,
could be trouble.
Do you worry about that? Do you worry about that coach is going to keep that in their head next year and go, you bailed on us when we needed you the most because we could have maybe won or lost this game because you guys weren't here.
Let's go to
again, I think that comes back to talent. Like if you're a talented player, you're almost at a lot of our small schools. You're almost at a point where it's like, what is coach going to do to me?
Yeah. And that's not a good mentality to have. I mean, that's not a good mentality
to
take anywhere.
It's not.
Because, you know, at some point that's going to bite you in the ass. Well, what are they going to do to me? Well, here you go. I'll show you something.
And I've coached on teams that I've been around that type of mentality.
And I think I would hope we all know it by now. And there's enough of us on this panel. It comes down to character. It comes down to your character. If you carry that, what are they going to do to me? Sooner or later, somebody's going to do something. Whether it's somebody watching from the stands or somebody from the next level that says, "Oh, okay, I see. You want to? How do I know you're not going to do that to me in this situation?" So,
but that comes back to what you said earlier too about it's the parents. They get that from their parents, so too, because now if you're a coach and you say, "You know what? I don't care that you're one of our superstars. I'm going to stick to my morals and my rules, and I'm going to sit you." And guess what those parents do? They now go to the principal, the athletic director, and they say, "This is crap. Why are they punishing my kid?" All
There's
he did
good
was
parents
go do
out there
something
too.
else.
And listen, they're kids. Kids make dumb choices sometimes. They make poor choices. I shouldn't say dumb. They make poor choices sometimes, and it's peer pressure too. You know what I mean? I would be willing to bet that if this was one student athlete, it would be very difficult for them to do this. You know what I'm saying? There has to be like a clique or a group of them that go together to do it, because I think that it's very
harder to
difficult.
Punish numbers.
Well, it's hard to do this by yourself, right? And justify it. But if you have numbers, then it turns into, well, they're not just going to punish me. They're punish you, and what are they going to do about it? You know what I mean? That's when it turns into, what is the coach supposed to do? You know, if you're going to ground your entire starting lineup, what are you going to do? You know, the world can't revolve like Coach Carter. You don't, especially these days, you don't have 12 people on the bench to pull into the game and say, "Hey, go." You know, so it's just interesting. Jeff, we haven't heard a thing from you yet. You've been playing Fortnite. What are your thoughts?
I just let the kids do whatever they want. So if they want to go play, like paying attention, like listen to what you all said. It was like, you know, coaches hold regrets all the time, but you're a good adult. Like, why you hold a regret against the kid if she's an underclassman and going to get better at another sport or doing something to make herself better? Like, why are you going to punish that person? Let that good person go play, or that girl or boy go play a club sport, and you know, if it makes her better, it makes her better at another sport. What if that sport's her main sport and she just plays this sport to have fun? Like, what if, yeah, she's really good, but she doesn't just really care about this sport? Like, what if that other sport she went to do the club sport in is her better sport that she thinks she can make a future out of and be better at? Why punish her as a coach? Just be like, hey, I get it. You want to go play there, that's cool, but you know, be a
I will
coach.
say,
You got to let it
if
go.
lack of communicate, I think EB will back me up on this. If lack of communication is the biggest issue, the relationship that you have with your players is really key here and important, because the better your relationship is with your players, the more likely they are going to talk to you and communicate with you. So if there is a lack of communication, there's also a lack of either, whether it's respect or just a relationship in general with your player.
Yeah, I'll
Nice,
agree. I
nice,
mean, because
Lincoln.
like one of my players plays JO, and she had a tournament this weekend. She didn't miss anything like school wise, but dude, I get excited for her when she comes in and she's like, "Oh yeah, we did really well." You know, and she's on one of the local teams. What is it, Club Hollywood or something like that? But she's a very good, she's a very good volleyball player for Salem as well. And you know, I know her passion is volleyball, and I'm just using her as an example because I see her 6 days out of the week. But you know, I think probably one of the best things, she's comfortable talking to me because she understands I understand the club side of things too. You know, this conversation kind of, it makes it sound like I talk out of both sides of my mouth because I'm a high school coach, but also a club coach and a director at that. So, you know, I totally get it from, you know, all angles and what they're saying. But I think a lot of times comes to the communication. And like Billy said, you know, you got to keep that avenue open. And, you know, if you're a club coach, you got to be excited for, you know, whatever these kids do in an alternate sport, especially for a school, because those team successes can be phenomenal, great. And also, if you're a school coach, like, dude, you got to be excited for these kids, what they do in club, like whether it's a sport that you do or not, like be excited for them. And you're going to build a relationship with them and a trust where, you know, they'll be like, okay, I can actually come to you and talk to you about this, you know, hey, I'm between a rock and a hard place right now. You know, I have this coming up, but we also have this coming up. What do you suggest? And now you kind of look at it to where you're consulting them on it. And they're like, hey, let's see what we can do here to work it out.
Here's a dumb question. Do you think that when you think about the different coaches, you got, you know, a coach on one side from her high school and then a coach on the other side from the club? Jamie, do you think that it's almost like being a divorced kid? You know what I mean? Like mom and dad split up and you have to pick your favorites sometimes. Is that is the best kind of the best example I can give? Yeah, thank you.
I think that is a good analogy, honestly, because at the end of the day, you are making that decision and it's two different entities because we know each coach is different. I've been around coaches that are all about themselves, and then I've been with coaches that kind of understand where you're coming from. I mean, my varsity baseball coach also coached football. So while I was off in the summer playing down at Scene Park and I'm missing football practice here and there, he's understanding that and he's kind of relaying it to the other coaches as if, you know, this is his time to get better there. He's got games. He's not going to be able to make it to all the practices. So it always comes down to kind of like we've talked about, individual character. Not everybody is in it for to benefit the kids. Some people are just about themselves. And unfortunately, that's the way things are.
We lost Ty, it looks like, but we've got 15 minutes or so left in the show. Somebody put a bow on this for me. Situation, put yourself in the student athlete's shoes. You're in that situation. Snowbird, what are you doing?
If it's, and I hate to say the way it's going to come out, if it's not a super important like regular season game, or even like a, you know, if it's a playoff game and you're in high school, you shouldn't miss that because you're punishing the rest of your team for a selfish reason. If it's a regular season game or a practice or something you're going to miss to go to club, I mean, that's understandable. Take your medicine, whatever it is, whatever the coach might have as a punishment when you come back. But for a player to miss a tournament game, especially on the back end of something like that, I think you're not only punishing, you know, your coach and your team, but, you know, you're kind of punishing your school too, because they're kind of hopes like, hey, maybe we can run the tournament, and you are being selfish and going somewhere else.
So what if it's two important tournaments?
I got to think that the club is going to have other opportunities come up throughout their season for you to go to another tournament. I mean, there's not just one big tournament that you're going to – I mean, it's not like they only have this one super tournament all the time. They have multiple tournaments that come up. So, I mean, you're going to have other chances high school playoffs only come around once a year, so you only have one shot at that, and especially if like you're an upperclassman, it could be your only shot. And now you've just said, well, this isn't important to me. Well, it could be important to those other 10 girls or boys that are sitting on the bench there too. So I think that it'd be to miss a playoff game or a big regular season game, I think is selfish to go do something like that. I would be, if I was the parent, I wouldn't be happy with that.
Jeff, you're the student athlete. Make a choice. What are you doing and why?
Well, I'm going to do whatever makes me better. So if my club sport makes me better at the sport I want to do, I'm going to go do that. If my high school sport makes me better, I'm going to do the high school sport. I'm going to sell myself. I'm all in on myself.
Look at Jeff. Like, he gets this new sweatshirt and all of a sudden he's like a changed man. He's naming presidents. He sounds like he's got a head on his shoulders. Billy, what did you do to him?
We had a conversation.
Don't be stupid.
Bit.
Nick chiming in saying, I think it's tough for a high school coach to coach an AAU kid. You run plays in high school, AAU, it's go, go, go. Discipline is so different. I like both, though. I can get behind that. Mac, how about you? Where are you at when it comes to being a student athlete and having to choose one or the other?
Man, it's hard, but it's not. You know, I think, you know, my father, if he was here standing next to me, he would say, you know, you're committed to high school first, and then, you know, the second thing would be. But it just, I think for me, it's very similar to Jeff. It's, you know, if I'm living in today's world and I'm an athlete, I think it's about what's going to get me, not to be, it's going to come off bad. I don't care anymore. What's going to get me to the next level? So, like, if this coach, if I'm playing for this coach, is going to give me the avenue to go to, you know, to Ohio State to play football, and playing for this coach is going to get me nowhere, I know where I'm going with that. Yeah. The avenue is different. So if it's two tournaments for the same weekend, and one's for a state championship and one's for an NABF championship, I think it comes down to who's going to be in the crowd for me to help me get me to the next level.
I think I know this answer, but Jamie, you're going to play for the state title in baseball, or you're going to run for a gold medal in track. What are you doing and why?
Obviously, state title in baseball. That's just kind of how it goes. If I was going to do a ranking, man, you go postseason, regular season, and then like a practice or anything like that. And if it comes down to it, you're playing a regular season game in two sports. I would have to do it like football, baseball, and then when I used to play basketball, then you throw track at the bottom. It's importance of kind of the game that you are playing, and then it would come down to the sport as well.
EB, you're the last
Dude,
one.
I'm kind of with Billy on this, like, and I guess Betos. I can't believe I'm saying that, but dude, like at the end of the day, you got to take care of number one. Like, you come into this world with yourself, you leave with yourself, and when you fall asleep at night, it's you and only your thoughts. So you really got to take care of number one. Like, it's between a rock and a hard place, but you know, if I had a chance, and it's, you know, if I know I'm a blue chip recruit in basketball, and it's, hey, you're going to go play in this AAU tournament, and, you know, North Carolina is going to be there, Duke, Kentucky, Syracuse, Kansas, all the blue bloods, or it's going to help me get my next avenue in life set up, or you need to be here for, you know, this high school game, I'm probably going to go club, but that's just, there's different variables, and without diving too much into it, you know, I would really have to I'd have to look at the situations. And I think if you talk to any coaches, like, they'd be like, hey, okay, I kind of understand that. But that's where it comes down to, is you got to have the communication.
I like Tony's comment there.
I do too. Let's read it out. Some athletes play travel sports trying to reach the goal of a scholarship. Athletes get much more exposure on the travel side. However, I would never allow my kids to miss anything with their high school team to go play travel, as a travel tournaments are quite often. It's true. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
that's what
you think
saying.
baseball,
like, those tournaments pop up a lot
so,
more.
So there is a little bit more level. I mean, Quinn and EB talk about Run for the Roses all the time in AAU. I mean, that's exposure central, right? but I don't think they ever coincide with any major tournaments in baseball or anything like that. So the decision's a little bit easier, right, E?
Right. Like, dude, if it was the first AAU tournament and I was in, I would, me personally, as a club coach, I would say, hey, look, this is just tournament number 1. Like, we have 10 more to go to, and these are the ones that you really want to focus on anyways, and we'll make sure that we can make this work for you. If it's for the odd reason, Corona 2.0, fingers crossed, none of this shit ever happens again, and like we need to like mash stuff up. Like, dude, I would always say go to school. Like go do your school stuff, because you get 4 years of that. Club, I can put you in different tournaments. I can find you stuff. I can find you stuff like that. But I'm kind of with Tony on that, man. Like, you got to look at it too. And unless if like for whatever odd reason, Run for Roses was going in March during the state championship, and it was the number 3 recruit in the nation, and they had to sit there as a sophomore and try to delegate between the two, I wouldn't even know what to tell someone. But if it's like tournament number 1 and you're in the of AAU and you're still playing for whatever your school team and you're in the regionals, always go school. Like, dude, screw club at that point. Like, go win a state title, because that's going to hold weight too. So it's just one of those rock and a hard place situations.
Everybody says dynasty, right?
Yeah, like Paul said, though, most of these major tournaments are not conflicting with major high school tournaments, though, for the most part. Almost 97%.
But when you're dealing with COVID, it's anything goes, right? They're just trying to fit it in where they can fit it in. We say this all the time.
Well, for the long reason, we had to have this backup plan for club ball because we didn't know what was going to happen. So
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Well, before we get to our G Burger Farms, what's your beef, what's your filet? I want to make sure we get out to our sponsors today. We had 7 for a while, so it was difficult to get them in. Special thank you to iSynergy, WRS Wealth Advisors, K Squared Marketing, Myers Family Insurance, Clientele, and Greenwood Chevrolet, the exclusive sponsor of Chevrolet of the Your Sports Network. We also have Baird Brothers, WRS Insurance Solutions, Joe Dickey Electric, Channel 21 WFMJ, and of course, G. Berwick Farms. Gives us a perfect segue into the G. Berwick Farms. What's your beef? What's your filet? And we will start with, let's go with EB first. First off, guys, unbelievable topic. Very difficult to talk about. I thought you guys did a fantastic job with your points. Jeff, I am completely flabbergasted still by your answer. I still think I don't know if you're drunk or what's going on, but
he's like Will Ferrell in Old School. All of a sudden he's like,
he's blacked out.
What happened?
But we said it coming in. This is going to be a difficult topic to talk about because there's going to be a lot of different viewpoints. The biggest thing is to just hear each other out, and hopefully, we got some great responses in the comments. So kudos to you at home. All right, EB, what's your filet? What's your beef?
Dude, my filet is Betos, because he's a whole new. I don't know if it's a hoodie or what, but dude, if it's a hoodie, wear that thing every damn day. My beef for sure, dude. People who set double standards, like, don't make it one way for someone, and they're like your backup plan, and then make it completely different for someone else. Like, dude, just be real. Like, who gives a shit? There's too much drama in life, because people set double standards and feel like they need to have options to have all bases covered.
All right. James?
I got to go with the filet here. I mean, it's the day after Valentine's Day, so I'll go back to that. Went out to Canton last night, got some dinner at the Crush House over at this winery. It was real nice, just a nice little dinner with the lady. She got me
you can't drink.
Jacket. What's up?
You can't drink.
No, I can't, but you can still go there and not drink. That's the beauty of it, Paul.
Attaboy.
Got me this nice jacket, got me a new pair of shoes, and just a real nice time. Actually, it was driving past Neomed. We stopped and saw her sister, so just a real nice day. And plus, the Daytona 500 was delayed, so I didn't have to miss any of that.
How about that ending?
That was crazy, man.
Fiery crash.
McDowell had that run, man. Kind of seemed like he dumped them both on the way to victory.
That was incredible. That's I like NASCAR. I'm really trying, James, to get into it. Maybe we're gonna have to watch a race or something because you're gonna have to talk me through it. I just can't figure it out completely.
Their new setup is stupid.
Huh?
The new setup is stupid.
You don't like the stages?
No, it's ridiculous.
I kind of like it because it gives you more to run for, like in these little segments, compared to just wanting to get to the end, just round and round.
That's racing.
Hey, man,
Whoever gets there first.
It's more exciting for the fan when they have these little individual goals throughout. At least that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Jamie's the real NASCAR fan. Paul, are you a NASCAR fan?
I used to be until like they did this stages crap, and then Earnhardt dying too was a kind of a downer.
That was like 30 years ago.
All was done in 2000.
20 years ago, man.
Oh, sorry, Jeff. What is it with that hoodie?
Oh, dude, Dale Senior died covering his two teammates to win the Daytona 500.
Yes, he did.
This kid was in front, and Walker Whitetrip was in front of him.
Hold on, say his name again.
Hold
on,
Waltrip.
There we go. You did not say Waltrip. You said Michael Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip. He was saving them, and then
obviously he power the hoodie, Paul.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Mac. Mac, you got any fire today?
Yeah, it's with my car. I have a serious issue with my windshield washer fluid as I filled it up and went down the road and tried to use it and nothing. So I'm literally driving with salt everywhere on my windshield. So I'm literally driving down the turnpike trying to pour water on it, and it's just coming back in my face. All right, because I can't even get it out, and then I'm just like, screw it. I'm Ace Ventura, pet detective.
Wiping your face off,
and I can't even see out the window. I'm just catching bugs and bullets.
Everybody driving past. Did you see that ginger?
Had his head out the window.
Oh man,
he's crazy. Don't mess with him.
Did you get it fixed yet?
No, I think the pump's bad.
Oh,
that's no good. You know what you need? You need a vacation. Let's go to Alabama.
Hoodie. Would have given you a better idea.
Yeah, I know.
So if you're taking the ACT, you can go buy a YSN hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. If you're looking to get a little bit smarter, you can still save 25% in our sideline store, ysnlive.com, and click on shop. I always get those two confused. All right, Jeff, what's your don't look at me. We've been doing this for 3 people for about 7 months. Filet or beef or both?
My filet, it will be I get to go do Cheney and Menor tomorrow night. So I'm pretty excited to go watch that. This is it. That's my filet. It's just I'm excited to go watch 2 really good basketball teams play, and it's going to be a good game.
He's so excited, and he just can't hide.
Are those your clothes behind you?
Yeah. Did you fold those clothes in the basket?
Yeah, I did laundry today.
Oh, how'd you fold them?
Can you give us a tour real quick?
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is like my America stuff. Obviously, I actually have a bunch of like wine bottles and beer bottles.
We're shocked.
My bed, closet.
Is the bed off the floor, or is half of it on?
No, it's off the floor. Look, it's up off the floor.
Is that the infamous one?
Is that the bolt breaker
that one's
bed?
at another house. That's not the infamous one.
Do you not have lights in your Wait, do you like lights?
I do, but there's only one light bulb in it. It only has one light.
Here's the trick.
I do. Like, I could open this up. Like,
we use natural lighting here.
There's the ceiling.
Man down.
There you go. And then, like, there we go. I just have like natural light coming in.
What do you do at night?
At night? I don't.
Yeah.
I literally just come in my room. And I know my room so well. I just come in, take my clothes off, and go to bed. Like, I'm only in my room for sleeping and playing.
So you don't use lights?
No. Rarely I use my lights.
Jeff's like the Amish over there.
My ceiling fan's on like all year round in my room.
Your ceiling fan just stays on?
Yeah, because we have our house at like 72 degrees, and it like being a fat kid, I get really sweaty at night. So I have to turn my ceiling fan on or open my window.
Man, our viewers just went down, down, down.
You asked Jeff how to fold clothes, and he proceeded to show you his room.
I could full clothes.
Jeff, fold us a T-shirt real quick.
Okay. I mean, you want a T-shirt or do you want like a pair of shorts?
God,
Sure.
he wrinkles it up and just throws it
Sure.
in his bag. I'm
No,
done.
like
How do you fold a
we
shirt?
got
Here
some
we go.
shorts. And you just,
Oh, those are shorts. Shorts
Well,
are
it's
easy.
this shirt, dude.
Those are,
We
those are
said
no-brainer.
shirt. We all said
right,
T-shirt.
just give
Everybody
me
knows how to fold a
shorts.
pair of shorts.
Shorts.
Lord,
All right, here we go.
look at that.
This
There's
is
no
like
light
awesome.
bulbs.
Where'd you get that awesome
There
shirt?
isn't no light bulbs in that thing. Like there's one light bulb in there. I just gotta. I'm too lazy to replace it again. So
How many
I'm 30.
Bezoses does it take to replace the light bulb?
Whoa, what was that?
What? In
Whoa.
the, what?
What are you doing?
What just happened?
Wow. Wow.
Hey, fold it, dude.
Face. Did anybody see the face?
What?
Hey, fold
What
it.
the hell
Look at
was
it now.
that?
I'm like,
I
Right.
don't want to hear stuff about how I fold a shirt. My goodness.
If he folds like months, I quit.
Don't worry, you don't gotta quit. That was
Do
weird.
that one more time. One more time. We want to see this again.
so we're talking about how I fold a shirt.
He folds it in half.
I do. I literally go like this. You have it. Let me hold it up, and then it's that, and then it's,
Is that a
Oh
shirt
my
or a
God.
sheet?
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
You got like 4 creases in there.
It was worse. He said it was worse.
Jeez.
All right, Paul, let's get to you. Well, I think I know what your beef's going to be now.
Well, hey, no, my fillet is that somebody folds a shirt worse than I do. That's great.
I don't
man.
fold my clothes.
Okay.
We saw.
More time light
All in my
bulb.
basket. Why do you
Who
need to
needs-
fold clothes? Like
Who needs folded clothes and light bulbs, right? Nah, nobody.
Not me. Not me.
Obviously.
I'm good, dog.
No. My fillet was over the weekend. I did I emceed an event which was really nice and raised a lot of money for a program. But while I was there, I had to miss the big win for South Range. So props to the South Range Lady Raiders. They ended the streak of the Poland Bulldogs. They hadn't lost a game in the NE8 since they joined, and they beat them. So it was a good win for the program. And Coach Fish, another feather in the hat for him. So congrats to those girls. That was my fillet. It was nice.
Feather in the cowboy hat, right?
That's the cowboy hat that he's got.
On the next Power Hour, join us as Jeff attempts to fold a fitted sheet.
Oh, that'll just be.
I'm just gonna throw this out there now. I cannot fold a fitted sheet. Not going to happen. I have two bed sheets and the other one just thrown in my other closet.
Yeah, he doesn't even put a fitted sheet on there. He's just like, nope, I'm good.
No, there is. No, Paul, there is. There's one right there. Look. Boop, boop. Like, it's there.
I hate the way she folds it, but I love the way she folds it at the same time.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
folds Pager saying, I've seen 2 YSN hats in the last week, one in Alliance, one in Salem, taking over the world.
Nice.
I love it. I love seeing it. Love watching it happen. I can't wait to see some of these new. I mean, Jeff has new shirts. Billy's got new shirts for the YSN stuff. All the
I got
all the
some
brand
ordered.
stuff coming out. I still have yet to order my stuff.
I
I'll
was
probably.
just looking on the website while Jeff was.
I
going
needed
through.
something to go down to Troy to wear, man.
Yeah. Carrie
I'm-
ordered one for the whole family. The girls
Yeah,
got some.
I can't lie to you. Like there's just not enough hours in the day. I keep getting up at like 5:30 trying to buy myself a couple hours to get stuff done. My goodness, there's just so much to do. And we've got some big announcements coming. And I'm not going to use that as my fillet. My fillet, well, I'll get to the other stuff in a minute. My fillet is one of the coolest things I've seen. I'll go full screen here. Ray Samil. I don't know if you guys know Ray or not. Ray's a friend of the program, loves what we do here at YSN, but he actually won a purse raffle over the weekend, and he gave the purse back to raise more money for the cause. And it's a great cause. John Alsop, we love him, a Boardman police officer and a member of the Poland nation, and a huge fan of YSN. I'll tell you what, man, like when that stuff happens and it's real, it's, like when you see the 50-50 at a basketball game and they give the money back, that's cool. Always cool. But when you see like a, $400 or $500 purse being donated back so you can raise more money through raffle tickets for a cause, we just live in a place that with so much bad news on the regular. I love being here because we always try to bring good news to the forefront. And if it's not good news, we try to spin it in a positive light. So hats off to you, Ray. I didn't have a chance to send you a message like I wanted to yesterday, but that was awesome, man. Like that's good. I mean, let's just put it. That's good shit. Let's get real. I mean, that's really, really good stuff. So kudos to you. I know there's more people out there like that never get the recognition. Just keep doing the right thing because it's never the wrong time to do it. You don't do it for the notoriety. You don't do it for the fame. You don't do it to be recognized. You do it because it's the right thing to do. So, kudos to you, Youngstown. Kudos to you people out there doing the right thing and don't care about getting the props or getting the social media love. Just keep doing it, right? That's the right thing to do. So that's my G. Berwick Farms filet. I'm excited. Like I'm excited about, the stuff we're doing, the meetings I'm having, defending my guys, because we're doing the right thing and I'm proud of you. So, keep going, guys. I'm proud of you. That's why Ysn Nation keep supporting these cats too. Like I don't care. You can go tell me to go to hell. These guys, give them a pat on the back because they're out there fighting. They're out there. They're scrapping and clawing, trying to make the world a better place for you and your kids and your student athletes. So, we got a nice, good recovery here from Kate, Billy. So there you go. Giving the love right back. Betos, do you want to get the piece out of here?
See you, everybody.
Jesus, Betos. All right, that's going to do it for our show today. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll try a Trivia Tuesday. If not, we'll just have some regular beef for you right here on the Ysn Power Hour. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to our panelists. And thanks to you for watching. See you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on